Hey, Myles, what did you think was the key to getting off to that big lead in the first half?
Momentum, carried like I think great through Gamebridge today. When you start the game off hitting shots and getting the crowd into the game, works well in your favor. So I think we did a good job of establishing the way we wanted to play early, and then defensively just flying around.
Myles, you held them to 98. What did you like about what you guys did defensively today?
I think we just made them be decision makers. At the end of the day, it's not a one man job guarding Giannis or some of their better players over there. It's a team effort. I got to give a lot of credit to Pascal Siakam. To carry the offensive load and also the defensive load like that. It's going to be daunting. It's a tough one on all series, but we got his back.
Myles, you had 4 blocks today. You had the one in the third quarter on Giannis where the crowd just goes crazy. What do moments like that in a playoff game do for a team?
Momentum changers or momentum shifters at that. I think it's huge, especially when you're at home. You have to keep the crowd into the game. It's a big part of the playoffs, something I've learned just in my experience because, momentum plays a huge part in just, I guess, our style of play as well.
And then I saw Mathurin had 9 of his 13 in the second quarter. How do you think he handled his playoff debut and the boost that he gave you off the bench?
I loved it. I think he's a very poised individual. I told him before the game, my only real advice for you is just to lose yourself in the moment and don't have any expectations. When you start setting expectations for yourself, especially for your first playoff series, that can lead to disappointment that doesn't even need to be there in the first place. So I think he did a good job of staying poised, and he played a great second half.
Apologies if you got asked this one already, but imagine going into this, Giannis is probably going to get his points, but you're trying to obviously make life hard on him, but mostly make sure he's not getting a ton of assists by getting a lot of open threes for other guys. What did you guys like about kind of your complete defensive game plan, especially holding them to 2 of 16 from 3 in the first half?
I think it was decent. We definitely have areas to improve. I think we fouled way too much. I think we missed time, some of our doubles as well. So overall, I think it was a good to get our baseline. That's what game one's all about. Get your baseline, you make your adjustments, you improve from there. So I'm glad that we got a dose of where we're at right now. Then, we watch film, we have 2 days evaluating, and then we make our adjustments from there.
So obviously you were able to hit, I think, 4 or 6 from 3. Just how important is that for you in this series to be able to get some clean looks and knock some of those down?
Yeah, floor spacing is very important in the playoffs. It just provides room for everybody to work, and just me shooting the ball with confidence is something I've done for a long time now. So I'll continue to keep picking and choosing my spots, when to be aggressive, and mixing them in.
Myles, you've obviously been with this franchise for a long time now. You've been through a lot of playoff experience here. What does it mean to have this crowd behind you in the playoffs?
It's unbelievable, man. I think I was just talking to JJ about it. Just be able to hit the first shot. My first home series, opener series, whatever you want to call it, was really cool, man. It's the moments like this I don't take for granted. And my whole family's here. Everybody's watching back home, and I understand the support of Indiana. So, just to be the one that's seen the highs and the lows, and I think it's a beautiful thing to build. You know what I mean? I think a lot of guys can, get to organization, when they're hot or jump around. And I've seen this thing from the bottom, and it's a very special moment. But we still have a long way to go, man. It's just one game down, and 15 more.
Andrew Nimhart had a big first half. What did you like about his performance?
I just think that he set the tone for us. Getting downhill, I think he went right at Brooke a couple of times, and when he's a very heady guard. I think people don't realize how strong he is, until you see the results. So I like the way he established himself defensively, and I like offensively how he just didn't settle.
Last one for me, Myles. When it comes to Pascal, 25 and 7 tonight.
Yeah.
How much do you appreciate just his steadiness? I mean, it doesn't always maybe look like it's the most explosive game. But then you look up, and it's like, okay, he's got another 20 again.
He's very consistent. Pascal is someone who's going to he knows his spots on the floor, and we know where to give him the ball on the floor. So a lot of the time it's just him being patient and making reads, and I think he's done a phenomenal job since he's been here. Honestly, even since last playoffs, of just dissecting the defense and even just making tough shots. So no, got to give a lot of credit to him tonight. I said he carried both sides of the ball.